All right, gentlemen, as we always like to say, like on Guam, wonderful Hafa to you and your team and your families. And what another wonderful opportunity for us to come together as a community and a family tomorrow and participate in this annual event, which is inspiring, motivating, emotional. For some, it brings back memories and everything, but above all, it really galvanizes and really reinforces how we all fight cancer together. No one is in this by themselves.
Agreed.
Okay, Joe, what are some of the major hallmarks of this year? And like we changed the format last year, like it's in UOG again.
Yeah.
But like I said, like the purpose and our support of it and everything haven't wavered one iota.
Yeah, so the amount of teams that we have joining us for Relay is one of the main reasons for us to have it over at the UOG Fieldhouse, because we have just a great size for the amount of teams that we have. And we're for many years we've been always dealing with the weather, so this is just going to be another year of climate control where we're able to celebrate our survivors, our caregivers, and our relayers at the UOG Fieldhouse.
And I found last year when we had relay inside, inside essentially like a university sports stadium,
Yeah.
it provided so many more opportunities for product demonstrations and for people to really connect with each other. I mean, yeah, it's not like outdoors, but by the same token, the acoustics of the place, the close quarters nature of it, and everything like that really made for a really unique experience.
Sure did. We had over 20 teams, and it seemed like we knew who was there. Over at the GW track, when we had it there for many years, of course there was just so many people, so many teams, and in that environment over at the UOG Fieldhouse, it just seems like we were just so much closer, and we knew who everybody was in that setting.
All right. Well, Brian, we are so happy to have you here, coming all the way from Dallas. And Relay, of course, is not a competition between different markets and everything, but we on Guam really want to impress upon you how much this means to us, and the American Cancer Society's organizing of this event, how fortunate we are to participate in it, so that we can support the entire system of care for anyone going through cancer.
Yeah, I think it's so great that Guam has a 30+ year history of Relay for Life on the island, and they're a huge part of Relay around the world. And we operate not only in the U.S., but Relay takes place in 35 total countries around the world. And so I think it's great for me to be able to be here and see how Guam does Relay. Meet amazing volunteers like Joe, meet amazing teams that are doing great work towards our mission of ending cancer as we know it for everyone.
Mm-hmm. How many different relays have you been in? Because all the ones around the world, you've attended many.
I've attended many. I've been to probably a dozen or so just this year alone. So, and what I think is so great about Relay, not only just throughout the U.S. but around the world, is that it's truly a reflection of the community. Joe was talking about the teams that you all have had, and the kind of the changes that you've made to your event venue to reflect the community and the desires of how Guam wants to do Relay. And I think that is evident at every event that I've been to, this year and last year, that I've seen, especially post-COVID. I think people after the pandemic really felt like they could change things up and do something different to really reflect what their community wanted to see out of Relay for Life.
And I absolutely know my friends here, Joe and Ed, will absolutely agree with me. There is probably no better event that I can think of that's hosted locally that is so emblematic of who we are as a people and the way we feel like about each other, because we have a concept here called Inafamaulik, and in Guam's native tongue, that's basically don't let your neighbors handle anything by themselves. Support your neighbors. No man gets left behind.
That is, Relay for Life. Like it's a community-focused event. We bring together those folks in the community to show that nobody has to fight cancer alone, and that we're even here to support our fellow caregivers, our cancer survivors, come together as a community. I think it's so reflective of that statement too.
Okay, now Ed, since I've got you here, you are the man with like all the logistical details and everything like that. So, are there any changes or anything different from people who have attended past relays as far as parking, showtime, events that are going on within the actual format?
So I guess with a past relays, the thing you're not going to see is that giant luminar display. But the great thing about it is all the essence of relay that we've always had in the past, we still have. So we still have our victory laps, and then we still have our luminary tribute. An added feature that we've actually put on here, and we haven't actually done, is we're actually dedicating a victory lap for caregivers. Because the big part of the caregivers, we all know that the patients and the survivors, they're the ones that went through the journey, but sometimes we forget the caregivers, because the caregivers don't think that they're just as important, but they go through just as much the journey themselves, mental, emotional. We just wanted to dedicate and appreciate them, because you know what? The patients, survivors, they couldn't have done it without the caregivers. And we really wanted to just dedicate that one moment for them.
And these are actual certified healthcare professionals, like nurses or physicians, in addition to godchildren, grandchildren, spouses, like anyone who has ever been part of that journey.
Exactly, and we wanted to highlight that. I mean, obviously that might be the largest participating lab, just because even we've had survivors that were their caregivers themselves, right? So. Some may walk multiple times, but that's okay. We wanted to make sure caregivers had their moment, because it's important.
Okay, now Joe, let's talk about the theme for this year, because we are all coming together again, centered on the concept of color.
Yeah. So Colors of Hope this year is really about how we can get together as a community and also display that with fabric, and to put that together and to just understand where we come from and how it represents each of the teams. And we have so many different relay teams that have displayed their sponsorship cards, or the levels that they've had in the past. And so you had, like, for example, Team Feds that will always display their their banners, whether it's the Bronze Star, the Gold levels, things like that. So with the Colors of Hope, we want to go ahead and display that and see how we can put so much together.
And Brian, I'm sure in your travels and in your journeys, and like leading organizations like this and movements, this is truly a multi-generational event, and everybody from the elderly all the way down to kids gets it. It's like like if there's somebody in trouble, we got to help.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a family affair. Relay for Life has always been a family-friendly event. I mean, to Ed's comments just a moment ago about caregivers, I think caregivers can be anybody from a grandchild who's giving support to a healthcare professional, to a grandmother, grandfather, a parent, a sibling. I think that cancer's affected, unfortunately, all of us. And and so Relay for Life allows us to bring all of those people together, united in that common cause, and in all the colors of cancer as well. So.
Okay, and then Ed, a final question for you. Again, we're celebrating color, so everybody please come with the full spectrum of colors and everything like that. Wear your colors proudly. Where can they park? Are signs allowed? Like noisemakers and like things like that, so they can just make a joyful noise. I'm sure I've read somewhere before.
So parking, if we're all familiar with the field house and the UOG, there is a lot of parking, so you're not going to have to worry about that. Survivors, they will actually have that front line of parking available to them, so that we can ease the actual transportation and them walking to the actual stadium. Noise, colors, bring it all. We're going to bring some noisemakers. We love it. Bring your banners. Just make sure that they're appropriate. Bring your banners, bring your noisemakers, bring your colors. Think of it like a Halloween. Wear your costumes. And you know what? We actually have reelers that are full decorated, right? So it's like a fashion show. So if you want to come see it, see how you can participate. But yeah, bring the noise.
Yeah, maybe we can make that the theme for next year. Bring it. I like that. We're already jumping on 2025.
Exactly.
That's why you're the best. We're going to remember this. We got this on tape. Okay. So Brian and Joe, some final thoughts about what Relay is going to be this year.
Each time that we have a Relay for Life event, there are always two in my mind that really, really appeal to not only myself as a relay volunteer for, over 30 plus years, but for us to see the survivors just walk in that victory lap, and then followed by the survivors after their years of survivorship is just amazing. And then we have the luminaria ceremony, where just a lot of the family and friends on Guam honor their loved ones that are still with us, and then the loved ones who have passed away. And those two events are just really, really spectacular for our Relay for Life event. So I just want to encourage everyone to come out to the UOG Fieldhouse tomorrow at 3:00, so that we can all share, and celebrate that we have our mother, our brother, our father, our sister, and loved ones that are still with us. And there's definitely a lot of hope, because when you get that diagnosis, it is not the same as 10, 20 years ago. And with all the advances in technology and and to have the support of a lot of the relayers, a lot of the people, especially here on Guam, that you definitely can beat this. And we're here to fight with you.
Absolutely. So Brian is our honored guest. What are some of your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talk about relay in terms of celebrate, remember, fight back. I think Joe did a great job there of talking about we're there to celebrate our cancer survivors and those going through treatment. We're there to remember those that unfortunately we've lost to this horrible disease. But the piece that I want to highlight is the fight back and the work that's being done here on Guam to fundraise for the American Cancer Society's mission to, influence the future of cancer care. As Joe was talking about, we're not the same as we were even 5 years ago in terms of outlooks on cancer care. And so I think it's also a celebration of that fighting back and the impact that the people of Guam have on the American Cancer Society's mission to end cancer as we know it for everyone.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
We will.
See you tomorrow.
Bring the noise.
Bring the noise.